Welcome to a journey back in time to an era of bell-bottoms, wood-paneled station wagons, and the unmistakable crackle of an 8-track tape. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine walking into a grocery store in 1975. The air smells of floor wax and fresh produce. The prices on the shelves look like something out of a dream. You might see a loaf of white bread for just 36 cents. A dozen eggs for 77 cents. It feels like a world of abundance where a $20 bill could fill your cart. But as we stand here in the present, looking at our receipts and wondering where all the money went, we have to ask ourselves, was it really that much cheaper back then, or is our memory playing tricks on us? To understand, we look at the numbers. In 1975, the United States was in the middle of the Great Inflation, a period between 1965 and 1982 where the cost of living soared. While we remember the low stickers, the reality was intense economic pressure. That 79-cent half-gallon of milk in 1975 actually cost about $4.85 today. Believe it or not, that is higher than the average price of $4.13 we see for a full gallon today. Similarly, while a pound of white bread was only 36 cents 50 years ago, that translates to about $2.20 in modern currency. So, if some groceries were technically more expensive, then why does it feel so much harder to make ends meet today? The answer lies not just in the price of the goods, but in the power of the paycheck. This is where the story turns somber. In 1950, the federal minimum wage was 75 cents an hour. That had the purchasing power of nearly $11 in today's money. Back then, a loaf of bread cost about 12 cents, which represented roughly 16% of a single hour's wage. Fast forward to 2023, and that same loaf of bread costs between $2.50 and $4. The federal minimum wage is stuck at $7.45. That bread now consumes 34 to 55% of an hour's work. Our dollar has lost its muscle, and the gap is widening into a chasm. In 1975, you could buy a brand new Ford Maverick for $3,625 or a Volkswagen Rabbit for just under $3,000. If you were looking for a home, the average price was $42,000. Adjusted for inflation, that house should cost about $250,000. Yet the actual average price has surged to over $500,000. This massive inflation in housing means less is left for the table. 60% of American adults between 18 and 64 have reported using a credit card just to buy groceries. The data shows that over the last 77 years, food prices have increased by an average of 3.26% every year. That means $30 worth of groceries in 1959 would cost over $333 today. We see this in staples like eggs. While egg prices in 1975 jumped to 77 cents due to shortages. We recently saw spikes driven by bird flu and supply chain issues. When we look back at 1975, we see a snapshot of a different American dream. You could rent a 4-bedroom house for $425 a month. A ticket to see Don McLean in concert for $5. A movie ticket was a single dollar. These represented a different ratio of life to labor. While the cost of producing food has shifted, with farmers receiving a smaller share, the burden has fallen squarely on the consumer. In 1975, farmers received 40% of the retail price. By the late 90s, that dropped to 21% as marketing costs climbed. The nostalgia we feel for the mid-70s isn't just about the aesthetics. It is a longing for a time when the math of daily life added up. Today, those at the lower end of the wage scale are often forced to choose between paying rent and buying nutritious meals. This is why food banks across the country are seeing record lines. The disappeared 12-cent bread is a symptom of an economy losing its floor. As we look at the evolution of food costs, we must recognize that the problem isn't just inflation, it is the stagnation of real wages. The next time you find yourself staring at a grocery receipt, remember that you aren't imagining things. The relationship between work and food has been fundamentally altered. The journey from 1975 to today is the story of the struggle to maintain the American standard of living in a world that keeps getting more expensive.